I am the Headless Headhunter. I am a corporate recruiter here to get you ahead of your job search by reviewing your resumes. And the resume we have up first is not very good. I know this because I did a meet or yeet of it, and it was a yeet. And they have a 550 applications to no interviews. So there's something seriously wrong with this resume. Let's figure out what's wrong with it so we can help them out. So what we're looking for in a software engineer is not a ton. We really are only looking for a basic knowledge of the tech stack. And this is for bachelor's, master's, and PhD. Interns are a little bit different. But for bachelor's, it's just like primary language. So like Python, Docker, Kubernetes, SQL, and cloud. You know, something just that simple. Not a ton. Maybe an API or two. So that's basically all we're looking for. And here's the part where almost every single intern messes up at is ability to work well with others and takes direction and criticism. Those are massive. So the very first thing I would like you to check is make sure two things are happening, okay? Because their ratio of 550 applications to 1 or 0 interviews is horrible. Even a bad resume should still get you an interview every like 400 or something. So I would first check to make sure your contact information is right and your voicemail is not full and your email does not bounce. That is the equivalent of someone telling somebody to turn on and off your computer to reset it. And I think for a resume, that's actually very true. A lot of people mess up on that, and it's much more than you think. The second is make sure you're applying early. The faster you apply to a job, the better your chances. ATSs do not have some crazy AI scanning. Well, like 99% of them don't. It's first come, first serve. And if we find a software engineer in the first 75, why would we keep looking? So first come, first serve, apply early and fast. So to the actual bullet points, this can be deleted. Don't care. This should be one line. Also, I used to live around there. Represent Illinois. I'm now in Los Angeles, but I love Grater's Ice Cream. That is not an ad, but I would shill for them any day. I love Grater's Ice Cream. But yeah, this stuff can be deleted. This stuff should be one line. Do not bold it. Nothing here should be bolded, which you didn't do, which is good. So this should be one line, and then reduced power consumption 30% for 20. Okay. Oh, there's C++. Okay, so this is obscene. I don't care that you reduced power consumption by 30%. I care that you've used C++. That's really all I care about. Just say use C++ to architect a power storage video capture system. And then I also want to know a little bit more that you've used. Eliminated hours of manual pollination. Are you a bee? By developing a Python good neural network machine. Neural network could be a keyword because it's kind of AI adjacent. Learning model. Again, I don't. You're writing this with the assumption that they know what you do, and they don't. Okay, the people reading your resume don't know what you do. You need to explain it to them. And I don't know why is the pollination needed? I don't know. I'm not hiring a bee. Capturing and analyzing hyperspectral plant images. It sounds made up. I know that's real, but it sounds made up. Pollinators. Okay, so this is bees. The only thing I care about is C++ and Python. That's it. You've wasted six lines with practically nothing. Just say use C++ and Python to create a blank which allowed us to do Y and Z, and then you can add a little bit of other stuff. Hosted weekly tutoring sessions to educate young children on artificial intelligence and coding. This is actually pretty good, and I like this one. But I want you to don't just say hosted weekly. Just say hosted weekly sessions to educate young children on topics such as ML, machine learning, LLM, Python, SQL, that kind of stuff. Saved hours of manual data. Stop telling me the percentages. I don't care. I do care that you use SQL, though. This is why I couldn't find anything. Here, you have oh my god, okay. Increased program attendance, growing effort for developing interactive websites. This is what I'm looking for. Developed interactive websites using React.js deployed on AWS. That's what I'm looking for. They're not going to find this because they're going to see 30%. They're going to see C++. Then they're going to miss Python. Look at 80%. Then they're going to go down here and look at Power BI, which we do not need for software engineers. You need that for data and analysis people, and the other one that's mind I am blanking on. Business analysis. That was the other one. And then they're going to this. Maybe they'll see Python. Then they're going to look up Miss.js, CAWS, which is good. Manage operations for customer service. Okay, so this isn't terrible. Oh, wait, yeah, it is, because you've only been there for like 6 months. I don't even know if you would include that, but I don't need to know how you led. Every single intern tries to show how amazing they are, and it's like, bro, you're an intern. You're here to learn. You're here to take direction. You're here to write code that is wrong, and then somebody tells you why it's wrong, and you go, okay, boss, and then you fix it. That's what you're here for. And every single one writes it like they're an amazing engineer, and it comes off as really weird. You want to write like you're going for an intern, which is you're here to learn, you're here to take criticism, direction, and you know a basic amount. So built and developed a Vue application, that's good, but then you have so much other stuff. Design and develop REST API, Node.js Express. See, this is great, which nobody can even see because all the way down. I actually really like this one. So your resume is not working. There is too much extraneous stuff. So as a software engineer, intern, you don't need to specify if you're back end or front end or full stack. Once you go into full time, that's when you want to specify if you're full stack, front end, back end, and then whether it's C or Java or Python. So, but for this, all I'm looking for is this, and I could not find it in 20 seconds. So shrink this down. You over-engineered your resume, and that's why you're having problems getting interviews, is because there's so much here, they're missing what they actually care about. It's, again, to use a food metaphor, you go to a restaurant for a burger, and the actual meat itself is amazing, and then they put like 10 pounds of ketchup and mayonnaise on it that you can't taste what you actually wanted. And that's the same with this. You put 10 pounds of percentages and accuracies and mitigated and pollination that I don't know, I can barely find what I need. So that's all I can do for this resume. That's why it doesn't work. I hope this has been helpful. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It does help me out. Hit the bell. And if you need more help, you can stop by my Twitch chat. That's where I get the keywords. That's why I tell people more stuff than I can really fit in a video at twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Let's have a client meeting because that comes first. And let's go to the next resume. This is another software engineer intern. We do not know any notes on this person besides they have a 150 plus to 1 ratio, which is absolutely terrible. So let's see what we can do to fix and which one is better than both, right? Like we now have 2 to compare. Which one is best? So this does not need to be bolded. 1 line, please stop. Okay, so please, this is the formatting you want to use. It's the same formatting I've been showing, except this one does not have any errors in it, hopefully. So the only things that should be bolded is the education, your first name, last name, and then the work history, projects, or internship section. Nothing else should be bolded. There should be no underlines across the whole thing. Makes it harder to read in the 20 seconds. So as I did a meter yeet on this, I could not find it. This was a yeet into the trash. And the reason for that is, again, partly the formatting and partly that I didn't see what I wanted. Although I think at a base level, even with worse formatting, this is a better resume because of the bullet points in the previous one. So developed a scalable, good Spring API with Spring Data, PostSQL. We have SQL. See, I don't care that you've exceeded performance goals. Remember, interns are there to learn. I do care that, like, you met your... Sorry. Spam was calling me. Off in the corner. I do care that you met your goals. That actually is really good. But you don't need to necessarily say processed 100 plus per second because it makes it harder to find. I would just say exceeded performance goals outlined by senior engineers by X and Y. Like, that would be what we'd be looking for, not the 100 plus requests for latency, which I don't know what that means, man. Developed a comprehensive churn analysis pipeline. Don't care, but employed machine learning for models is good. So like this is a better sentence. This is not a good sentence, right? Like this is the good part. This is not. In addition, I don't know what primary language you're on. Like I need to see like Python. I need to see, like, one of your first sentences should very much be, like, Python or Java or TypeScript or HTML, CSS, JavaScript, that kind of stuff. I need to see the primary language stack that you're working on first, which you kind of do here, but not really. Explored and cleaned the data set. I don't know what that means. I don't care. Perform comprehensive data analysis. Don't care. And applied smote. You smote them. I don't know what smote is. Yeah, none of this matters. So this can be deleted. Engineered a novel spaces as Gemini AI. See, this one's solid because AI is pretty popular right now. Developed a Python spatialization library. Python is good, but the rest of it isn't. You just don't have enough. You have it. You don't have enough keywords that I'm looking for, and you have too much extraneous stuff. So you need to simplify this. Even for senior engineers, they still need to do this stuff, but it's especially important for interns because you're not expected to be the best of the best of the best. You're expected to learn. That's the goal. Projects, built an outfit for open. Okay, I don't care about that. MongoDB is fine, but yeah, I think I saw one Python here. Where's Cloud? Gemini, don't care. Engineered, yeah, I don't care about this. So it's not a good resume. I think it's better than the other one because it has more salient keywords, but you still ran into the same problem of you wrote them poorly. You can never, like, I know the common advice is to show how corporatized your email is, make it fancy, make it fine. You need to make it incredibly crazy, but that actually leads to worse scores. You want to, not scores because resumes are not scored, but it leads to worse application ratios. You need to make it simple and sweet and short. Basic and boring is how you make it. Don't say, you know, let's say, how would you say this? Say use SQL, JavaScript, used JavaScript, HTML, and CSS to create a front end, while, you know, on the back end created it using Python and SQL. What you don't want to say is hyper performed using our extraneous and enhanced our spatial audio for our initiative, which allowed us to exceed project goals by 35%. That means nothing. Okay, stop corporatizing your resumes. They actually make it worse. I speak corpo. Okay, I speak corporate. It's bad. You don't want to speak corporate in the resume. And I don't know how you worked well with others or got criticism. Again, that is the biggest problem, is I need to see that you can work well with others, and I need to see you can take direction and criticism, or they will not move you forward. That is one of the most important things for an intern to put. So not led, right? Everybody says led. I don't care that you led, because you're not leading as an intern, you're following. I need to know how you're a follower. If you're a project manager, if you're a hiring manager, if you're a manager, I need to know how you led. But as an intern, knowing how you led doesn't matter. So that's all I can do for this. It doesn't pass. I would say this is better than the previous one by a little bit, just because I have slightly more relevant tech keywords that I'm looking for, but it's still pretty bad. So let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a bank teller or similar role. So the qualifications for a bank teller are not huge. They're not a lot. These are all of them. I looked at a ton of different jobs. This was basically it, which is you want to show that you've graduated high school, you've got your GED or your degree, that you have moderate computer skills. So this includes like working knowledge of Microsoft Office, Excel, PowerPoint, Word. Again, if you have MS Word and you know how to use it in a professional setting along with Excel and PowerPoint and Outlook, you should put that on your resume. That is one of the few skills that is almost needed in every single resume besides software engineers. They want to know that you have handled cash before and done some form of customer service, whether it's through sales or retail, and that you can multitask. And that's basically it. They are entry-level positions, and it did not look like there were a lot of people that applied. I think I saw like postings that had been up for 2 weeks that had 12 people apply. So good way to get your foot in the door. I don't know what it leads to, but you know, good way to get an entry-level job. Let's see. So they appreciate getting their resume reviewed. No worries. They've been looking for a career path. They said, I've read a lot of recommendations for resumes, cover letters, and LinkedIn arrangements. Feel pretty lost. Again, there's a lot of people that claim to be experts, and they are not. They're trying to sell you something. This resume is a hodgepodge of different recommendations. I didn't use AI, but willing to utilize it if absolutely recommended. I do not. It just makes bad resumes. That's the problem. And if possible, I'd be willing to pay to have my cover letter and LinkedIn reviewed. You do not need to do that. A, I do this all for free. B, don't pay for your cover letter and LinkedIn review. The only use of a LinkedIn is for recruiters to basically search for you, and you don't need to do anything other than just copy paste the skills in your resume on there and they can find you. That's all you need. And it's also possible that your market's not doing well, that they won't find you in the first place. That's called passive candidate sourcing. It's a whole thing. I can answer some more if people want, but that's a huge topic. And cover letters, I personally don't know how to do a cover letter, right? I don't read cover letters. No recruiter I know reads cover letters. Every single manager I worked with, I try to convince them not to have a cover letter. And I don't think cover letters are needed. If they require you to put one up, you have to put one up. But otherwise, I would not even put a cover letter in. I would leave it blank unless they specifically require it for the application. And if they do, don't spend more than 3 to 4 minutes on it, and don't pay for it. I don't think it's going to move the needle on your application almost any direction. So that's all we're looking for. Let's see if they have it. And this person has a 1 to 50 ratio, which is not great. Normally, I'd say that's a C-, but entry-level jobs like this that have a lot of openings and not a lot of qualifications, this means this is not going to be well. So again, the ratio of how well you do is determined by the individual job market, and in this case, this job market is not bad. There is a lot of openings, so 1 in 50 is worse than a C-. So let's see what we can do to fix it. First thing is your formatting. I can't speak today. I'm running on a lot of caffeine, if people can tell. I've so much caffeine. So you want your resume to look like this, and the finished product should look like this. In addition, this is what your resume should be like anyway if you're applying for a position like this. It's basically the same skills, so multitasking, moderate computer skills, cash handling, customer service. Your resume should look and read like this, and that's on my website. So your formatting is way off. Way off. There's so much wrong with the formatting. I don't know how to tell you how to fix it besides redo all the formatting, but maybe the bullet points are okay. Driven professional with 9 years, don't care. Electrician, nope, don't care. Previous experience in general management, that's not related to what I'm looking for. Nope, nobody's going to click that link. So yeah, this can be deleted. Nothing here is needed. Culinary professional, okay, that's fine. Wait, okay. Don't overhype your job title. Were you just the dude that, or dudette, or no, dude is gender neutrally, the person that made the pizza? Because that's okay. That's actually related experience to a bank teller because of the customer service. A little bit, because you still have to interact with people and work together. But I don't know what a culinary professional is. Or a charcuterie? Is that like you... So you made the charcuterie board. I can't pronounce anything in this resume. You made the boards with the cheese and the bread that are delicious and I like. So this is written weirdly, but I also need more on this. This is actually, this is related experience, but you can't just say recognize for operational excellence while under stress. I need to know how you did it, right? Like as an example right here, this is how you would write it. Handled a large lunch rush by providing customer service and multitasking while making customers food. I need to fix that one time, which resulted in multiple 5-star reviews on our Google page mentioning me by name. That is how you do that. This is not how you write that. So I need you to write it like this. This is how you're going to write that. Then I need a little bit more. If you did not have anything else to put there, understandable, but I'd like a minimum of 3 bullet points if you can. If you can't fit anything in here in those bullet points, leave it blank, but I feel like you should be able to put 1 or 2 things. Maybe even just clocking in your shift using a computer and doing training online. That counts. So sharpshooter? How do you... All right, I'm not going to pronounce it. So achieve store preferment and high sales growth through outstanding memorable service. That means nothing. So I need to know how you interacted with the customers. I need you to tell me how you did it. This is why you're getting a 1 in 50, which in this particular entry-level industry for bank tellers is getting you rejected. I need to see how you handled the large line, how you handled customer complaints that were not directed at you, how you upsold, what you did at that job. You cannot tell me a brag. I need to know what it is you did, how you did it, which is the most critical part of this resume, and the reason and result you did it, which you're kind of missing as well. So I don't see anything I really need here. You should keep these because this is a solid tenure, especially at a role like that. And that's actually what they're really looking for. Superiors revenue. Again, this is not what they're caring about. So this you might even want to delete because this is a little weird. I don't care that you increase stores' annual revenue through a combination of CRM strategy. I'm not looking for that. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this. You know what? At Whole Foods, if someone said on their cheese board, they're like, I want Gouda and salami. And you say, okay, but hear me out. What if we put pancakes on it? And you're like, I don't want pancakes. I want Swiss cheese and salami and whatever the other cheese I just said. The others you can put in. It's like, okay, but instead of Swiss and salami, what if we put asparagus? That's what it's like. This is what I'm looking for. This is the cheese I want. Give me the cheese. Give me the cheese I want, and I can move you forward. So that's why you're not having any luck. I think you need to burn it and redo this whole resume. I don't think there's anything salvageable. You're getting a 1 in 50 because a lot of the times they'll move somebody forward with a pulse. And I don't see the actual skills though. So take advice from this. It is where my sample resume is on my website. This is how you write an entry-level position. And even for people that are not looking for entry-level roles, this is still how you write a resume. This is what you want to do. There is a reason I recommend it. So that's all I can say for this one. Let's go to the next resume. This is a Q&A engineer. They said software test engineer and QA engineer, which is STAT. But it's been about 10 years since I've recruited for an STAT/Q&A, and I don't remember if those are different roles or not, so I'm looking specifically for a QA engineer. So this is only for a QA engineer. It's possible the keywords are the same for STAT. I just didn't want to mess it up. So we're looking for the following for a Q&A engineer specifically. Your degree, they want to see it. Q&A, just the words Q&A, they really want to see it. Quality assurance, test case writing, test planning. The word test, they want to see the word test. And this is where it gets a little bit different is, I don't know if this is the right word for it, but the product you're working on in your testing. So like Android, Mac, ERP, which is Enterprise Resource Planning, HRIS, which is Human Resource Information System, which is what Workday is, payroll, finance, CRM, customer relationship management, that kind of stuff. So that's going to determine a little bit about what you're looking for, but I can't really tell you all of them because it's going to depend on what you've done. And then we are going to be looking for some of these. You do not need all of these for the next two lists. You just need some of them. Normally, I want to see about 75%, but you do not need all of these that I'm highlighting right now, which you cannot see the highlighting, I just realized. Okay, so Git, Jenkins, Cypress, Playwright, Jira, Agile, Docker, AWS, TestNG, SQL, Java, Python, JavaScript, SQL, put that twice, TestNG, also put that twice, Selenium, and CI/CD. You do not need all of those. You just need a couple from each of those lists. And Scrum and Agile if you've had it. So, does this resume pass? We don't know the ratio, but I did a meter yeet on this, and the answer to that was a yeet, which maybe you can check out here if I actually know how to put it in the video right. Otherwise, I'm just going to point at nothing. So it does not work. It's not terrible, but it didn't work. I just couldn't find what I needed, especially when in a keyword heavy resume like a Q&A engineer. So first off, this should not be bolded. This should be one line. You should be able to fit your GPA in there as well. You should also be able to fit all of that into one line. If you use this formatting, it should be 10.5 Arial. All right. Everything below this line, everything below this line is 10.5 Arial, and you should be able to put it in there. So again, put it like this as well. This is okay to include. Normally, you don't want to double up on this because it takes up space, but this is in a different industry than your master's, so it's okay to put both. Both should fit on a total of 2 lines. None of them should be bolded. None of this should be bolded as well. So let's see. So contributed to test, that's good. That's what we're looking at. Writing E2E test. I don't know if I care about E2E. I didn't see that at all. With Cypress, that is good. I missed that in my 20-second review because this was so resource heavy. And unit test with Jest. I missed these because there's so much here already in all the bolding. Tracking development progress, issues, bugs, and Jira. So this is not terrible, but I want you to lead with the stuff this instead. So I would say instead of contributed to test, blah, 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 just say used. Use Cypress, Jest, Angular. Actually, Jest wasn't one of those keywords. So Angular, whatever the other stuff. Actually, was Angular even one of them? No, that's why I missed it, because it wasn't part of it. Cypress was. Jest isn't. Jira is. That's what I'm ugh. Got like no sleep last night and I'm running on caffeine. That's why I'm like all hyper. So Jira is good. Cypress is good. The fact that you said tests is good. I don't care about the rest of it. So I need you to shorten it or find a way to include the other stuff. So TypeScript, AngularJS, and Tailwind, I don't care. For 100 daily medical provider, again, none of that matters. Resign the company's Medicaid ESP portal. So ESP could be a part of this. The product what it is, so I'm actually okay with that, but the rest of it isn't. And I forgot to say, the note is this person was a software engineer generalist who's trying to move into SDAT and QA, and they're kind of new to this area, so let me know what you think. So yeah, the problem is I don't care that you've used Angular and TypeScript if it's not here. I do care that you used a little bit of Python, a little bit of Java, and a little bit of JavaScript, but I don't care about AngularJS. It's possible the recruiter may not know that JS stands for JavaScript, and even then the manager may not care. So there is basically nothing here I need besides Jira, Cypress, and I'm going to count EPS and the word test. So there's 4 keywords and 3 bullet points, and that is not enough. Implemented ChatGPT public API, CI/CD pipeline, GitHub. So this is good. Configured a CI/CD pipeline using GitHub Actions to significantly enhance testing operations when changes are pushed to GitHub. This is a fine sentence. So this is what I would be looking for a little bit, because it's got CI/CD and it's got GitHub, or at least Git, but they may not know the difference between Git and GitHub, which I don't actually. React, JavaScript. So yeah, this reads like an okay software engineer. The problem is this is not what we're looking for. They want a little bit of this. They want a little bit of this, but we need to focus on the testing part. Now, it's possible that you did not do that, in which case what we need to do is then have projects you've done instead, because this is what they're looking for, okay? Like, oh, here's one at the very bottom. UI test with Selenium, good. WebDriver, I don't think I care about. PyTest, I don't care about. I don't care about this. Reduce manual QA times, I do like, and the rest I don't. So, yeah, you don't have any of the things I'd be looking for. That's the problem, is if it's not here, it's not relevant. Now, you can do your own search for this, and maybe yours is slightly different from this, and that's okay. I believe that once you learn how to actually find the keywords, you should be able to find them more accurately than, maybe not I can, but in your individual industry in the time I have allotted. But I should still see most of these, right? Like, that's why 75%. I saw like 4, 5. I really did not see much of what I needed. And if you do not have these, you do not move forward. A lot of people think, oh, it's just keywords. The keywords are not what recruiters call it. Recruiters do not go to managers and say, give me the keywords. That's not how it works. We do not call these keywords. I call them keywords for y'all. We call them qualifications. These are our hints as to what the qualifications are. These are the minimum qualifications. That's what we call them. So that's all I can do for this resume. Let's go to the next one. This is a resume of a blah, 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 blah. What did I even say? This is a resume of an operations planning intern. So they are going to their junior year and hunting for fall next year. Goal is a large company, and then they can return with an offer. So I have not actually heard of an operations planning intern before. I looked it up. I couldn't find many other keywords than just this. So you need your degree, needs to show you've used SQL, Python, and business intelligence tools, so BI. You've used Excel, like VLOOKUP and pivot tables. I swear, if you put VLOOKUP and pivot tables on your resume in Excel, the amount of doors that open for you. PowerPoint, and then as per usual, the normal teamwork or multitasking, bullet points. So this person has a ratio of 150 to, not 150, has 50 to 1, which is not terrible, I will be honest, for an internship especially. So let's see what they're doing right and where we can do to improve it. So a top business school, this should be one line. You know what? It's possible because you've got a supply chain and concentration in finance. It's 2 lines. It should not be bolded. 2 lines maximum, but that's it. And then experience, this should not be bolded. Stop bolding this. It makes your resume worse. So managed. You want it to be past tense. Everything you do should be past tense, even if you still work there. It just makes the resume flow better. Managed daily and weekly production planning for all water SKUs. I don't know what that is. Supporting fulfillment of 200 plus units. So I don't know what a water SKU is. I actually probably should know that acronym because I've heard it once or twice before, but you want to make sure you tell us what that is. And even if it is, I don't know if that's really what I'm looking for here. I would like a little bit more. Just a little bit more about what you do on the daily. So, deployed and developed Power BI dashboards. Good. Perfect. To assess financial impact of distribution shift, highlighting 700K. Don't really care about the rest of it, but it's fine to include. Gained exposure to demand process. Okay, so don't... Stop saying... I know this is going to sound weird. They don't want to see how you learned. They want to see what you did. So if you did X, then by proxy, we assume you learned it, hopefully. So I don't need to see gained exposure to, learned how to X. Just say, I did. You did. You did it. That's all we need to know is that you did the thing. But I don't have a lot here. I do like cross-functional in this. I want more, right? Like, this is a sentence where you could say, worked cross-functionally with X other interns where we went over my X and did Y, okay? So remember, I'm not looking to see that you led stuff. I'm looking to see that you worked with people and followed. And this is a prime bullet point of where you could put that in. Prepare to maintain planning reports in Excel. Perfection. Yeah, so I don't know if I need to move past here and here. This is why you're getting 1 in 50. If you changed this bullet point and this bullet point, you probably would get a 1 in 25 or a 1 in 20 or 1 in 15. Like, just alone adding something to do with teamwork and a little bit clearer about what you did and to here, you'd already get more. But this is exactly how I want to see it. This is a phenomenal bullet point. This is peak. All right, as the kids say, this is peak, for real, for real. I'm not cool. I've never been cool even when I was that age, so I don't know if they say that. Don't trust me. Prepared and maintained planning reports using Excel, blah, 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 to support demand, supply, and distribution alignment is perfection. That's how I want you to write it, okay? That's how I want you to write those. So write this and this like you did using this, okay? And you will have a lot more success. And then fix the formatting to make it look like this. And I think you're already going to get an internship. This will just increase the amount of doors that are open to you. So do those changes, and I think you'll go from like a 1 in 50 to a 1 in 25 or a 1 in 20. So it'll save you time and get you maybe a company that would have otherwise rejected you. But overall, I like. So Lee does like, very much so. And that's all the resumes for this video. If you like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell. And if you need more help, stop by my Twitch chat at twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And, I look forward to helping you in the next video and on Twitch. And hopefully I will get some sleep and I'm not running entirely on caffeine and fumes, which is why I'm so hyper. And I will see you all in the next video to help you get ahead of your job search.